the We Wreck Records podcast.
As someone who has a lot of big fucking feelings and you make something beautiful out of them. A lot of people are afraid of like darker artwork or darker music, especially because they're like, oh man, you guys must like really be angry. And like, yes and no, like this offers like a helpful outlet for processing
Mm.
like big fucking feelings. That's, I think, part of why I really like art that is connected to music. I'm trying to make people feel like that pit in their chest. Like there's like a 20-pound weight sitting on your chest kind of thing. I will obsessively read lyrics that they've sent, take notes. I mean, it's my favorite album of theirs. It's also, I think, probably at this point, my favorite album cover for them. So we have Green and Holy Violence, which is just some good, clean, feminine rage. That's the thing, is I really like to put something really pretty right up next to something that makes you go, ugh. If it goes well, I get someone talking to me and be like, man, you really get how it is to feel whatever. I always think it's really exciting when somebody is able to like connect with something on that sort of level.
Hello, and welcome to We Wreck Records. We have a very special episode today. A different kind of a thing. Art is a huge part of music, and it's something we've always wanted to explore on this show because it's a huge part of the emotional resonance, and artists translating music is a real art form, for want of a better word. Today we have, an amazing illustrator, artist, Carolyn Harrison. One of the things I've noticed is so many artists have a very distinctive style. The thing that all of your work shares is an emotion and an intricacy, like it's a whole universe. And you've said you're drawn to repulsive or disquieting subjects because they help you explore alienation, resilience, and anxiety, which is quite a challenging thing. And all your characters are they're feeling something. They're feeling something.
Yeah.
What does the creative process look like for you? Like, do you begin with a feeling and let the character emerge, or, do you listen to the music when you're working on music projects? What's the genesis of this experience? Quite, yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the project. For music stuff, there's sort of like a client relationship almost. So, um, in that sense, I am being trusted to represent someone else's art, which is like absolutely terrifying in a lot of ways, but it's also, it's something that has to fit the sound, but also has to feel like it comes from me as well, because otherwise I'm just not going to do a good job of it. I kind of only have the way that I draw or paint. I can't, I'm not good at pretending to be somebody else in that sense. So for those, I ask a bunch of questions. I ask a lot of questions. I think sometimes when people don't like know me and they get the first email back, they're like, oh, um, because I kind of really like taking the work, kind of getting a sense of where the artist mindset was. I will obsessively read lyrics that they've sent, take notes. If there's anything that kind of comes to me from there, or like images that keep coming up, I might then do like some heavy research. I'll also often ask, like, what were you guys thinking of with this? Like, how did you kind of come up with some of the themes for the song, the record, the piece, whatever, and sort of go from there. And then it ends up being a lot of internet rabbit holes. Um, so I'll like find something that I think is kind of interesting and kind of follow that until um, I have either a page full of notes that's super useful or a page full of notes that lead me absolutely nowhere and I start all over again.
Well, someone
So,
said to me once that the fundamental thing about a creative is you have this urge to collect and connect. You're kind of
ooh, I
collecting
like that.
ideas or collecting visuals or collecting emotions or whatever, and it's a creative job to connect them and bring them together in some sort of synthesis, if you will.
Yeah. And it's funny because when you said connect, I thought initially that this person's meaning was like connecting with others. Which in for musicians, it's very different because you're literally in the space with those people, or like, you know, there are exceptions to this, but you're often not creating fully alone. You might have band members, you might have session musicians, you might have a producer, recording art, like engineer, whatever. Um, but if you're a visual artist, most of the time you're like sitting in your little hidey hole, not talking to anybody. So it's like at the end of the day, then getting your work out and people seeing it and connecting to it, like the work needs to connect to someone so that it makes them feel something and want to come back to it. Even if what they feel is like, I hate that, that's still a feeling. Um, so yeah, it's collect and connect. I also am just a total magpie of a person. So just horribly disorganized computer full of images upon images upon images.
You don't want to see my desktop, dude. I'm with you. Like,
Oh no, I'm right there with you. I actually
yeah,
have like 8 desktops going at any given time.
it's just scary. I like have people people judge me over it, but it's like, well, I had to screenshot that and it was important and I learnt something. It was,
And then I never filed it or organized it, but the screenshot exists and maybe one day I'll put it where it's supposed to
yeah,
go.
it's in my little basket. It's in my little magpie thing, and that's a beautiful
Yeah,
thing.
the
And
tangled little nest.
because this is a music show, I thought we'd get into some of your music projects. And one artist that you've said you've been involved with a lot is Pyrrhon. And I wanted to talk about how you guys met. You created all their album covers. How would you kind of describe the working relationship? And the work you've done for them is quite diverse, which is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so Pyrrhon is it's a pretty unique working relationship because I actually know them because I've been in a romantic relationship with the vocalist since just before the band started. So it's been really cool because we've kind of like as both the band and myself as a visual artist like grown up kind of alongside each other in a way. So some of my like favorite like artistic breakthroughs have been tied to Pyrrhon records. The cover for The Mother of Virtues, I think it came out in 2014. That while I also think of that as like the record where they came into their own, if people
It's so
ask me to sort
beautiful.
of like pick a piece that like I'm like, oh, that's it. That's where I started to be me. Like that's kind of like the turning point, I think, for a lot of how I thought about how I could create images.
Could you describe it as
It's
well? It's
gross.
so
Yeah,
gross.
it's really gross. It's like a woman standing, like a pregnant figure is a better way of describing it. It's like not necessarily a woman, with arms outstretched, kind of walking towards the viewer a little bit. And there's like kind of glowing around the figure, but the figure's also just like covered in like eyes and veins, and then like there are increasing like swarms of roaches just kind of like coming at it from all directions. But also the figure's like emanating light. So it's menacing, it's weird, it's disgusting. It's borderline though to me a little bit like, is this person coming to save us? Or like, are we being doomed? Or is this like, there's an ambiguity to it that I find interesting.
Mm,
Um,
the Armageddon
and
is
I
upon
think,
us.
yeah, and I think a lot of like the record itself also has this kind of fucked up, like things are bad, but like there are also like these moments of humanity that can kind of continue to get kind of peaked out. Like there's a song on that record that called Balkanized, which is again like a little bit of foreshadowing for our current political climate.
Yeah, man.
Um, yeah, lots of those. So I think the anyway, there are a whole bunch like Invisible Injury, and the title track, The Mother of Virtues, like all of these things are kind of looking at sort of the darker, more fucked up sides of humanity. But to me, that when you're exploring that kind of stuff in music, and portraying it as like kind of negative and really like diving into the bad implications of all of these different things, you're also doing that from a place that acknowledges that like this is bad. And to me, there's something inherently hopeful about that because you have these people who are disturbed by this thing enough to like make the art about how disturbed they are by the thing. And if people can still be disturbed and recognize that those things that are happening aren't good, that to me is like this kernel of like maybe we're not totally fucked.
It's a beautiful thing. Well,
Yeah.
you've said each of their album covers has made you like grow. as an
Yeah.
artist. I'm curious about the first and the last one.
The first full length was An Excellent Servant but a Terrible Master. The album was self-released in 2011. It's sort of like a bunch of swirling blue, black, gray clouds, I guess. Um, and it's like sort of a radial image with a bunch of different elements kind of swirling around like a lightning center of, I think there's like a loudspeaker, I think, or a couple loudspeakers. I think there's like some coaxial cables, some like like radio towers kind of stuff. Really kind of getting in on the idea of all of this kind of um, technological like surveillance kind of stuff, or like the negative effects of like constant connectivity with one another.
Mm,
And already, it wasn't this album, but it was already sort of starting to be a part of the band. But kind of the way that that's not always been a good thing for us, and sort of its effect on the U.S. political system, especially. Which 2011, I'm like, you guys are early-ish on the scene.
I love the energy of this work because it makes me feel a bit afraid.
Yeah, definitely that was part of the idea is like this is not a good place to be. I should
I'm
probably
not
get somewhere
happy.
else.
I'm a bit afraid.
It's funny to kind of try and think this far back, but like we had just graduated from college and had graduated into kind of the tail end of the recession here, and like, living in New York and not like barely like month to month, barely making rent kind of stuff. While also like Doug was trained kind of more as a writer, so he was really hoping to kind of go into that. We were doing that kind of thing. I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do. Perhaps not quite as many overt um, lyrics and themes about that, but it's definitely like a record of anxiety and a record of fear. And when I go back and listen to it now, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, you guys already were the band that you have become.
Maybe
Maybe.
you were always the artist. You're already the artist.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that actually has been one of the things working with them has given me in a way is that like I am able to kind of do things I didn't necessarily realize that I was able to do.
Art is more immediate. Sometimes a lot of people listen to music and they're like, I don't even know what this is. Whereas you can't deny eyes. Like it's more immediate. Like it's inarguable. It's different, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's funny because we spend less time with visual art. And I think uh, just as like people are wired, it's really hard to get that gut response from visual art in a way that I think a lot of music gets from people. Um, like they're almost everyone gives a shit about music in a way that like, they go to it for like feelings and stuff like that. And like, people don't necessarily feel this. Like you're not going to sit in front of a painting usually and kind of be like, this makes me feel the thing. So, but I don't know. Like that's I think part of why I really like art that is connected to music
A hundred
is
percent.
because you're there partially because you're like, man, this makes me feel stuff. This might make somebody else feel stuff, and this might be the first thing that they see that like makes them stop and say like, oh, wait, maybe I should go listen to that. That makes me feel stuff. Like,
And
let's see
that
if
was the
the album makes me feel stuff.
and that was the way it was, especially like in the 90s. Like we've had Buzz from Melvin's on the show and his stuff is really interesting because he said something that I never would have expected and he said I want it to look like a high-end advertising agency did it, which is like the most hilarious thing. The most
Well,
hilarious,
it's
the precision, I guess, and the like,
yeah,
the strength of the image. Obviously, that has a commercial underpinning,
yeah,
but I just thought it was really funny, like the swan on the cover of Stoner Witch, and like,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, and that's a band too, where like the visual identity has always been incredibly like refined and well honed. And it's funny that he said that because the day job that I left was in like advertising. Um, so
it's a weird
uh,
world. That it's a weird.
it's a very strange world. Like, but like there's the really good graphic artists out there. Like I don't think of myself as like a good like graphic artist, like because that's a whole other skill set.
Mhm.
Um, but I in my personal work as well as like my music work, I'm trying to make people feel like that pit in their chest. Like it should, or like a pit in your stomach, or like there's like a 20-pound weight sitting on your chest kind of thing. So we have Green and Holy Violence, which is just some good, clean feminine rage.
Oh my God, it's got so much
Partially,
feel. It's got so much movement. Like they're like dancing, like you can feel the move.
yeah. Yeah, so like this one's a little different than some of my personal work because a lot of my other personal work is this sort of like quiet upsetting, whereas this is just like revelatory, like fuck you, I'm really mad. So this is two figures sort of cavorting, I guess is the best way to
Oh, they're
describe it.
cavorting all right.
In they're cavorting in like a big old jungly, like foresty kind of situation. But if you look a little closer at the forest, like it's not made of plants exactly. Like the trees are kind of like meaty. Some of them have teeth. And I had fallen kind of really face first into an Anne Carson reading binge at one point in the last several years. She does a version of the Euripides play, The Bacchae, um, which is basically like someone fucks around with Dionysus and then finds out. Um,
They fucked around.
so
They
these
fucked around and
they
found
fucked
out.
around and found out, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Bacchae throughout, they're also referred to as Maenads throughout Greek mythology. They're known for like violently cavorting. So if you're familiar with the myth of Orpheus at the very end, and he gets his head ripped off, that's because some Maenads find him and he's like, I can't sing, I'm sad. Or like he's saying, I forget, I'm getting it wrong, but he's
Eh.
either I can't sing, I'm sad, and so they rip his head off, or they're like, your music's too beautiful and rip his head off. So the figures are their mouths are covered in blood, their feet and their hands are covered in blood. There's a severed torso on the ground between them. This is some good traditional feminine fun. Exhaust, which came out in 2024.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, it's my favorite album of theirs. It's also, I think, probably at this point, my favorite album cover for them. To me, this is truly them coming into their own as like whatever it like genre salad you want to describe them as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like a genre salad. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
synthesizing those parts. And you're like synthesizing parts. I like the difference between those two albums. It's it's death and kind of crow. It's a crow, right?
it's a
Or is it?
pigeon.
It's a pit.
So
Wow, it's
that
a
one's also
crow.
just kind of like
I just wanted to
we
see
had
that. I'm a
a
corvid guy. I'm a big corvid
I
guy.
mean, I do
Yeah,
love a corvid,
yeah,
magpie and all that.
they're my guys.
Um, but yeah, I mean they're smart as hell too,
But
so they're funny.
it's kind of beautiful in the way the other one is kind of disgusting. And the other
Yeah,
one,
so
yeah,
Yeah, so this one, for folks that can't see it, it's like an upside down pigeon kind of partially splayed on asphalt. The pigeon's head is somewhat removed from its body. And there's some guts spilling out and stuff like that. And there's like a bunch of puddles and stuff on the asphalt. It's like a pun not intended bird's eye view looking straight down. Um, but you can also see like I forget what it's called, but it's like I think like interference of when you have an oil slick in water where you get that rainbow effect, which
you're right.
over the course of painting that I did kind of have to like tone down the rainbow because initially it was like very bright. But
Taste the
yeah,
rainbow, as they say.
exactly. Yeah. I will say that I can't like advise painting asphalt for those of you that would ever want to make that really stupid choice.
Just don't do it.
Don't, it's
That's,
time consuming.
that's
But like, I like the sort of like fussy, crunchy details.
hands are a big thing in your
Yeah.
work. Like I love the hands. Like a lot of them look like they're drowning or they're dead.
I think of hands as kind of being as expressive as faces a lot of the time. So there's like a lot of personality in people's hands.
Jazz hands.
Um, yeah, exactly.
I love talking
I
with
mean,
my hands.
like,
I like
yeah,
doing this
people
when I'm
talk with their
excited.
hands. You're like, you can kind of like a lot of the times, like people, when there's like tension, you can kind of like see it in their hands. Like I fidget constantly. So like my hands are always moving. You reach out for people, like that kind of stuff. To your point, like people seeming like they're drowning, if it's like you're drowning, it's often because you're like reaching up for help. That's kind of, it's like how you connect to other people, reach out and touch them, that kind of thing. There are other
Yeah.
hand ones that you wanted to talk about, so
Yeah.
this is a good segue.
Dead soil.
Yaucha. I think it's two hands cupped, and they are holding what I can best describe as a weird, nasty meat pile. Like it's kind of it's like an ambiguous, it's fleshy, it's probably from inside of something. It doesn't look healthy. Um,
It's a sad friend.
it's very brightly colored, but coming out of it is a flower growing out of it. It's a painted trillium is the species. It's a woodland flower in the North America. They're pretty delicate. They show up in the spring. I think they're really pretty. Um,
It's beautiful. From its
yeah,
meat pile,
thanks.
the flower from the meat
From its
pile.
meat pile. That's the thing
Yeah,
is I really like to put something really pretty right up next to something that makes you go, ugh.
that is
So
kind of your vibe. I like
I
it.
want you to think that it's pretty, but I want you to also be like, man, I have to work for this. I have to look at this. I'm kind of like interested in this, like against my better judgment. I think a lot of people are often quite afraid of like darker artwork or darker music, especially because they're like, oh man, you guys must like really be angry and like, yes and no, like this offers like a helpful outlet for processing
Mm,
like big fucking feelings. Um, and like, as someone who has a lot of big fucking feelings, it's nice to have a place where I can be like, man, I really just feel like this thing. Like, how do I put that into a piece?
yeah,
And if it goes well, I get someone talking to me and be like, man, you really get how it is to feel whatever. And like, even if the feeling that they're describing isn't like what I was really going for, um, I always think it's really exciting when somebody is able to like connect with something on that sort of level. Can
yeah.
you make something that makes somebody feel less alone? Then maybe it's fine.